Hello everyone and welcome to Plane Time. I'm Ben Coleman, your anchor host for Plane Time. And we are always just tickled to bring you some of these very, very compelling educational presentations, primarily from the maintenance standpoint for Plane Time, but we operate in the operational world as well, as far as flying the aircraft, but we tend to get more tied up on maintaining the aircraft here with Plane Time. And the importance of maintenance cannot be understated. And the only thing that's more important than maintenance is education. Knowledge is power, and I didn't make that up. That's been around for a couple of years. And it's here for a reason, because those folks that help us gain the knowledge it's a very, very fulfilling role in this world, if you will. But in this industry particularly, we're looking at a shortage, and I know we've talked about that for years, but it's coming around, and in many cases it's here. Supply and demand is really the driver of the compensation scale, and we are seeing the compensations come up to where some of these occupations are not just for fun and games, like some people would like to believe, but this is for real, and we do keep score. And we have our next guest today is from the Central Florida Aerospace Academy in Lakeland, Florida, and she has been in education pretty much all of her life, and she has gravitated and worked her way up to a level that has so much impact that we want her to share that with you, the viewing audience, and our crowd, and and all of our volunteers here. By the way, thank you if we haven't thanked you enough. Jennifer Sasser is our guest, and I'd like to welcome Jennifer to us. Jennifer.
It's wonderful to be here. Thank you so much for having me today.
You are an educator. You are the director of the Central Florida Aerospace Academy.
Yes,
and
sir.
I would like for you to tell us, so I don't butcher exactly what the role is of the CFAA, but their affiliation with the Polk County school system and how they fit in. I've heard that this is a high school?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We are a free public regular high school serving students in grades 9 through 12. Any student who is in Polk County, and really any student in the surrounding counties, is able to apply and come and be a part of what's going on there at Central Florida Aerospace Academy.
How do they apply?
Right now, they are able to apply. We have the Polk County Public Schools has a career page on their website where they can go in and they can apply to the school. They do have different enrollment periods. The first one has actually ended, so it ended January 12th. So what they'll do now is they'll kind of take a count, see how many students we have, and then they'll reopen that window to see how many more slots we have available. Currently, we have somewhere around 310 students in 9th through 12th grade that we service there at Central Florida Aerospace Academy. They say we have capacity for 500. I'm not sure where we would put them, but if they come, we will figure it out. So we're looking forward to really just expanding our programs and offering these opportunities to more and more students. Like you mentioned a little bit earlier, it is a free education for those students. This is not a magnet school. This is not something where you're going to have to pay. They're getting a good quality education in addition to the CTE courses that they're doing, the aviation type courses. They're also able to take all of their core courses there at the school. So on site, they're able to take math, English, social studies, science. They don't have to go to a different campus to do that. So it's a very unique situation. It's unique there in Central Florida. And it's unique really all over Florida, as far as some of the aviation type schools go.
Well, and Jennifer, I do know that they have built that with the foundation in mind of duplication in different areas of the nation, if you will. But and something I want to back up to is you use the term free. Mm-hmm. That's in no tuition
Correct.
cost, but I always chuckle when they say, oh, it's free. But you have to go there and get it, and you have to be on time. You have to have good attendance records. Mm-hmm. You have to have good academic records. And so, you know, free sometimes, I think some of our young folks especially, oh, it's free. I get to go get it. You can't shove that free stuff in your head. You've got to, and you got your educators like Jennifer. How many on your staff there at CFAA, Jennifer?
We have about 22 teachers altogether that are on our staff, and that includes both the core teachers and our different areas of focus, the different CTE areas that we have, because we have 5 major programs that the students are able to be involved in. One of those areas is we have our students who work through Aerospace 1, Aerospace 2. They're able to do the private pilot ground school. We have students who are earning their private pilot certification while they're still in high school, which is a pretty big deal.
How many pilots have you put out so far?
We have, I'm not sure the total overall. I know that every year we do have a ceremony that celebrates our students who have taken their first solo flight. And that's every November. We have what's called our Solo to Success, and I believe actually Florida Aviation Network covered that event a few months ago. And along with that, we had 26 young people get their bricks, basically awarding them for completing those solo flights. So, you know, I think it's fair to say we're averaging about 20 students a year who are able to go ahead and complete that solo flight and are going on to, you know, experience the joy of being a pilot.
I heard a rumor. I think we're going to be bumping 100 here pretty soon, if we haven't already surpassed that. But that's just phenomenal to have young folks that go through your program and actually get in there minimum 40, usually about 43 hours. We'll have to ask Mr. Ron Timmermans as far as the actual number of hours required minimum. But the dedication that it takes both to educate and teach and train, as well as on the applicant to apply themselves and be on time and stay engaged with their studies and their math, their science.
Yes.
Tell me about STEM and how CFAA, Central Florida Aerospace Academy, the acronym, little acronyms will fall out of our heads if we fall down a crack.
We like them in education too.
We do. But how do you apply the STEM philosophy there at your academy?
Well, in addition to those students who are doing that pilot program, we have the other programs that we have available for them. We have a UAS program, which is an unmanned aviation systems. Students are able to work through that program and are able to actually get their certification to be certified drone pilots, which is a new upcoming area in aviation. We have an engineering program as well, so that we have quite a few students who are interested in the engineering program. They're able to get their Solidworks certification, go on with that. And then our other two main programs we have a program in avionics, where students are learning, you know, the basics of soldering and those electrical systems and those sorts of things. That room always seems to smell like burnt metal. And then we also have our airframe and power plant program, where our students are learning the general aspects of airframe and power plant so that they can go on and finish that program as well. So our students all have one of those 5 tracks, so they're getting that exposure. Then in their general core classes, a lot of our core classes, we do encourage our teachers, even though they may just be an English teacher or just be a math teacher or what have you, but we encourage them to try to integrate those elements from their aviation type classes as much as possible, so that so that there is that overlap and that they're working together.
You know, Jennifer, it's interesting that you mentioned that smell of burnt metal. Actually, that's tin solder, and it's the core, the acid flux core. And actually, I use a little bit of that behind my ear. I use it perfume. And it's really it's a very unique scent if you've never smelt the core, the resin there that helps with the soldering process. But programs, you mentioned something about engineering, and you said you used the word solid.
Yes.
Explain that to me.
Yes, our students use a program called Solidworks. Now they work in a lab, which Solidworks is the program that they use to create. So it is a computer modeling program. It basically does 3D modeling, shows them how to go through and how to create 3D modeling. And then we are fortunate enough, we actually have a 3D printer on campus, so which runs almost nonstop because our students are constantly creating new things on the 3D printer. So then they go into the more hands-on side where they create the things in the 3D printer. They're also using tools and things to make their creations and such. So that's where they're making solid forms, basically, is where that SolidWorks come from.
And SolidWorks, I take it that's another acronym?
I don't think so. I think that one's just a straight up. That's the name of the program. That's the name of the certification that they use.
Okay. We're getting our peanut gallery is throwing some information at us here. We're learning. The school itself, and it really wouldn't be fair for us not to mention James C. Ray. And had you met Mr. Ray?
I have met Mr. Ray when I was because I actually served as an instructor at CFA years ago before I came back as the director this past year. But and I did have an opportunity to meet Mr. Ray he would come during the November brick ceremony. And or he would come during Sun and Fun, but it is unfortunate that he has passed away. But we are very fortunate to have had such a rich heritage with him, and many people don't realize what his involvement was. Years and years and years ago, there was not a CFAA, and some folks locally, Rick Garcia, who now heads up Gulf Coast Avionics, he kind of he went to our school board and said. At the time, we had John Small was our director of workforce education, and said, "Hey, you guys are coming up with all of these different academies and such. Wouldn't it be a really neat idea to have something for aviation?" And so they were able to partner together, and the group actually kind of started out. They had school just over in the hangars or wherever they could find a spot. And just managed as much as they could. And then James Ray came along. He was there at Sun and Fun, saw what was going on, and really put his money where his mouth was, I suppose, in saying that I want to support the next generation of aviators. I want to give back to this community of aviation. And so he was the one who was able to help to fund the building of the building where we're at right now. Thanks to him and his foundation as well, we're able to have the James Ray Foundation. That's how, when I was speaking about our students becoming pilots, they do the ground school with us. School boards are not so big on letting kids go out during the school day and fly airplanes. The liability is just a little bit too much. So they do the ground school with us, but to be able to get their actual flight hours, they can apply for the James C. Ray Scholarship, and that scholarship will help them usually $10,000 to $12,000 worth of flight lessons. So there are several local flight schools and such, and those kids can then take those funds there and actually complete their pilot's licenses.
Jennifer, how do you guys, and I promise you I wasn't going to put you on the spot too much, but how do you get along with Polk State College?
Oh, we love Polk State College, actually.
Okay.
Yes,
all right.
yes. We are very fortunate. We have some really great education partners. Polk State, Eric Crump is the director over at the Polk State Aerospace program. He is very, very supportive of our students. We work to have an agreement with them that some of the courses that we have at the high school level are able to now articulate into their programs over there. So they're not technically dual enrollment, but they will count if they go specifically into the program at Polk State College. Polk State they have an airside center that's just a few miles from us. So we are very fortunate, and we benefit greatly from a partnership with them. We also have partnerships with Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University. They credential a couple of our teachers who are able to teach some of the dual enrollment type courses, and the students are getting credit for Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University and for high school at the same time. So, and we have a couple other colleges and universities and such that we deal with. We aren't as closely involved with, but those two are especially very important partners for us.
Well, in Southeastern University, I understand,
Yes.
is getting very involved. And Jennifer, maybe it's just me, but since we've been living in the Lakeland area, but Lakeland appears to become a kind of a nucleus for education and training for both flight schools, mechanics, aeronautical maintenance engineers and technicians. And I'm not sure exactly why that it is, because I guess Lakeland, and now there's a big Amazon station there, and
Yes, there
a
is.
warehouse, and so it just seems to be a kind of a nucleus between Orlando and Tampa, and probably
Geographically.
geographically,
There you
it's
go.
probably a perfect spot for it,
It
to
is.
be a nucleus. And I don't know exactly why that is, but it's pulling a lot of very professional groups in there. And it's so, where do you see this going with CFAA? I know you mentioned that you're around 300 enrollment and the capacity is 500, but when do you see it reaching that point to where you say, we can't take any more, we're going to have to either expand or roll back?
Ooh, I don't want
this
to
is
ever
pointed.
say we're not going to take any more. We'll have to put them in the hangars if we need to, because the more people that we have, the more children that we expose to this, it's just going to strengthen the industry, and it strengthens our local economy. It strengthens the opportunities that our students and their families have here in the Central Florida area. Even if students graduate from CFAA and never go on to fly again, they still have that as a foundation. They still have that as a basis, and they've still got a good STEAM basis. I know we talked about STEAM. It's really STEM. They've got that STEM basis so that they can go on and get more of those technical jobs. They know that those things are opportunities and are out there. I think we're really fortunate in Lakeland that we do have really a budding aviation community, like you were talking. There's so many more opportunities coming. Now it seems like a lot of them we're training and getting things ready there, and then like you said, Tampa and Orlando seem to be kind of the hot spots as far as where a lot of them will go to be employed, which is fine. That's and those are some major hubs, but I can definitely see where hopefully in this next decade or so we have even more. Maybe more major airlines, more folks like you said with Amazon. I mean, that's a huge thing to have. It's a great sight to see those Amazon jets flying in and out every day. So we're looking forward to this expanding.
It is a great sight to see how those Amazon, where'd that come from? Amazon 767s and how they intermingle with the Cessna 152s there in the pattern there at Lakeland.
Yes.
So it keeps the controllers on their toes as well.
Should make Sun and Fun a lot of fun this year.
A lot of challenging fun, I think. And from an educator standpoint, sometimes I think our educators, particularly in high school, when folks get up to that particular age, they reach puberty and things get different. And school sometimes is just some place to go and hang out. Whereas if you're in a specialty track like you are running there, you probably don't have too many students show up and just kind of humdrum, mopey, figuring out how to cut class and what can we do to get away with this or get away with that. They're probably very motivated and very encouraged because they're there because they want to be, and they have applied to be there, and they've gone through a screening program and a process to where you kind of weed out the ones that you think aren't going to make it. How far do you go with your screening? Do you get involved, or do you leave that to your staff?
Our screening process, when students come in, like I was mentioning earlier, they can apply, anybody can apply. I mean, as long as it's a student who's been in good standing, who hasn't had any serious disciplinary issues, those sorts of things, they are welcome to apply. We do encourage the students to be a little stronger academically because the courses that we offer, the core courses that we offer, are all at an honors or advanced placement or dual enrollment level. So, students who typically maybe struggle with regular level courses probably are going to struggle more than they want to. So it's an instance where we want to bring in as many kids and expose as many kids as we can to these aviation programs. We have found that there are students who come in who maybe they aren't that strong in their academics, but they make great mechanics. And so I think you have to give them a chance. I think you have to let them come in, and that's one of the reasons why we try not to just screen and say, no, you can't come, you don't have a shot. Let's bring them in. Let's see how they do. Let's see if these programs can motivate them to want to do their very best. So that's how we do with the students.
Well, and I do have to say, the last time I was walking around on your campus, it's very nice to see aviation nostalgia and just things that encourage the mind to think and go outside the norm, and it's very enlightening, if you will, to be an older guy, to go into a high school environment like that and see just what you do to stimulate the mind and to keep them engaged. And it's a chore with your 22 folks there. I'm sure that it keeps you on task.
It is a full-time and plus.
and you don't ever have to worry about like HR and personnel issues or any of that, do
you? No, it's just all kids all the time.
All fun, all good.
But it is the kids that really make it worth it. It's a really awesome thing to be able to see the kids getting there, and some of them come in not really knowing what they want to do. They just know, hey, I really like airplanes. They don't know if they want to work on them or fly them or fix them or design them. They're just not really sure. And this is the kind of place where they're able to come, they're able to kind of try some different programs and see where they fit in in the aviation world.
Jennifer, you're and I'm gonna. This is just out in a shot in the dark. Guidance counselors. I know when I went to high school, we had 2 or 3 guidance counselors, and they were pretty busy. They had their hands full. I mean, trying to give guidance to folks about where they're going to go when they grow up, what do you want to be when you grow up, and do you guys have similar like guidance counselors for aviation there?
I have one guidance counselor who is on my campus most days. Some days we share her with our main campus as well. So a lot of the guidance type stuff, she and I work very, very closely together. We're also extremely fortunate that over at the Aerospace Center for Excellence, they have a college and career person, Rochelle Floyd, who finds a lot of aviation type scholarships. She's constantly sending me, hey, these are some different scholarships that are going on, and then I can send those out to the students. We are involved with, like I'm involved with Women in Aviation International, so I'm able to pass along scholarship opportunities from them to our students. So we really just have to work in a informal setting, I guess, if you will, to get that information out to the students. But that's I think that our kids are probably better informed than a lot of students in regular schools are.
No doubt, and again, it's because of the environment and the atmosphere that you convey and exude onto the students there. And I know you do have a website. I don't think that we're prepared to put that website up, but anybody watching this, just do an engine search, any search engine you want for Central Florida Aerospace Academy, and you guys have a great website. I mean, it's a little bit busy.
It is a little busy.
But if you learn how to navigate around on it, you can really get a good sense of what's going on with the Academy.
It is flycfaa.com. It's really easy. Flycfaa.
CFAA.com.
Yes.
Not .org.
Nope,
not
not
.edu.
.org. Right.
It's .com.
.com.
Okay.
You got it.
And and I told you again I wasn't going to put you on the spot, but I lie. Somebody asked if you were a pilot, and you are not a pilot, and,
I am
and
not
you're,
yet.
you like to
Yet.
go ride in airplanes. But okay, but here, let me share something with you. When somebody says, "Oh no, but I can't wait to start my flying lessons,"
Right.
isn't that right?
Right.
Is that what I heard?
Yes.
That's what I heard.
I think that's what I said, isn't it?
Yeah, you cannot wait to get in that cockpit and
That's true.
left
It's
seat
true.
and feel the controls and the wind blowing your hair. Oh, that's
Yes.
open cockpit. I'm sorry.
Yes.
But it is a challenge. It's a thrill. It's exciting. It will. And again, it was mentioned earlier. But if you enjoy what you do, you never work a day in your life.
That is correct.
And there's an awful lot of hard work involved in that not working a day in your life, but it's so much worth it when you get into that third dimension up there, being able to look down, or depending on how you want to fly, there's ways to fly upside down and look up, which is actually looking down. Oh well, I digress. The application process, if there's anybody watching this that wants to take it further, what's the first step?
The first step would be to go to the Polk County Public Schools website, and you can just Google Polk County Public Schools. And then from Polk County Public Schools website, there is a search bar that you can use and just type in Career Academies, and that will take you to the Career Academies pages. And that will tell you exactly what you need to do to be able to apply to the school.
It sounds easy, but what follow through once they do that application process, what kind of timing we're looking at?
Well, it usually takes them about a month for the district to be able to respond to them, to let them know whether or not they've been successful with that. If it gets past the end of the school year, they're also able to, they can contact the school directly. We have all of our contact information is there on our webpage at flycfaa.com. We also have a very vibrant Facebook page, so you can find us on Facebook, and that also is at flycfaa, and on Instagram for the younger folks, and on Twitter as well. So we have at flycfaa. You can get lots of information there.
How about for us old folks that like to lick a stamp and use snail mail and
Well, the address, you want the actual address? You're going to send us a letter?
I'm sure letter. What's that? What is a letter? I never heard that before. Jennifer, I would like to thank you so much for your time, and we have something a little special for our viewing audience and our guests that we would like for them to hang around after we give our parting so longs and see you laters. But we do want to ask you, is there something that you would like to leave us with, that you just every day when you go into work and that kind of keeps you motivated? Because I mean, you got a lot of weight on your shoulders, and what keeps you focused? What keeps you dialed in, if you will?
I think the thing that really keeps me dialed in is the fact that I look at this as something that is a labor of love for our community and for our kids. You know, I have 4 kids of my own and 8 grandchildren, and you know, my goal is to prepare this as well as I possibly can to get it ready for that future generation. This isn't just a trying to get the credits or trying to complete this program or complete that program. It's about changing people's lives. It really is, because education is the key that can change people's lives. And you know, programs like this, you know, especially for those who maybe never thought of themselves as candidates for a program, you know, for STEM type things, like you were talking about earlier. Some people go into high school and they're just they just go in and they don't even know why they're there, and they don't do a whole lot. So, but this gives them that purpose, gives them that drive, and I think that's what, that's what keeps me getting up every morning and wanting to do this.
Well, good. Jennifer, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
This
I
morning.
appreciate it.
And we do want to keep an eye on what's going on there.
Okay.
As well as we would like for you to hang around and keep an eye on what we have going on here. We're going to make just a quick little set change, and we got our co-host Lori Bradner is going to come in, and we have a program that's we have literally hundreds of folks that are going to be sending in questions, and we're going to selectively pick out the questions that we might have the answer to. That's a joke. No, we're going to go for these questions, and we're going to field them because we have our man in the field, Mr. Ron Timmermans, and Ron is out there sitting in the cockpit of his airplane. Hopefully it's nice and hot out there, and we've got sweat dripping off of his brow. But we're going to be here in the studio set. Don't go away. Hang in there. But this is going to be we're going to wind it up for this portion with Jennifer Sasser, and thank you very much.